This is 17 News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Now to the latest on the coronavirus. There are still no cases at this time in Kern County, but in response to concerns over the virus, schools in Kern County are shutting down or preparing to close this week. County Superintendent Mary Barlow and County Director of Public Health Services Matthew Constantine have asked all public schools closed by the end of Wednesday. This includes preschools and charter schools in Kern County. They further recommend that schools plan to reopen no earlier than Tuesday, April 14th. Students should still attend school today and wait for further instruction from their school district on when their last day will be. Well, several districts have announced that tomorrow will be their last day of instruction until the Tuesday after spring break. Those districts include Kern High, Bakersfield City, Rosedale, McFarland, Arvin, and Greenville Union School Districts. And just into our newsroom, which was this morning, the Panama Buena Vista Union School District and the Fairfax Elementary School District will continue instruction today and tomorrow, but all schools will close starting Wednesday through Tuesday, April 14th. Well, if you may be in need of testing for COVID-19, there are a few places you can go in Kern County. Priority Urgent Care will start testing for the coronavirus tomorrow at all 4 local sites. Patients with respiratory symptoms who have recently traveled or who may have come into contact with a person who has tested positive will be notified in their cars when it is their turn to be seen. From there, they will be screened in special isolation rooms. Testing is free. Accelerated Urgent Care on Coffee Road and Stockdale Highway will also offer testing beginning earlier this week. It will be covered by insurance, but patients will have a copay. And workers constructed a large tent in the parking lot of Memorial Hospital's emergency room for pre-screenings of COVID-19. According to a press release, Bakersfield Memorial Hospital is preparing to identify, isolate, and treat any potential patients who seek care during the coronavirus outbreak. Across the country, hospitals are also building tents to accommodate large numbers of people who fear they are infected with the COVID-19 virus. Well, fear and panic continues to rise as the coronavirus is spreading across our nation. Experts are urging those not to give in to those fear-driven tactics, along with President Trump reiterating there is no need to panic. Well, people are fighting it out to get their hands on much-needed products. Shoppers were lining up at 4:30 this morning at Winco to get their hands on essential products. Like they were clearing the shelves, leaving supermarkets barren. Well, the first shopper in line waited it out through the cold this morning to make sure he had all the essential goods for his elderly father and him.
I think the people who are trying to stock up out of fear is one thing. The people who are trying to stock up and hoard in order to make a profit, they're the ones who are causing these lines when there shouldn't really be a line. We have enough stuff in America that everybody should be able to access what they need to survive just fine.
Well, even over the weekend, shoppers were eager to get their hands on whatever they could. The Costco on Panama had lines that wrapped around the street. Well, for those of you who are heading out to stores today, you can expect much of the same. Well, hopefully we can expect maybe some change in our weather. Let's send things over to Kevin Charette. Kevin?
And we are expecting some weather. One second, we're having a little bit of a mic issue, I think. There we go. As we take a look at your forecast, we had a little bit of a mute there. We are on storm watch, folks, because we are looking at a system that is arriving into Kern County now up near the Lost Hills area. And you can see it up that way, the orange and the yellow, indicating the heavier of the rain. Now, we've got some showers now moving in from the southwest, and all this is going to continue to enhance as we go throughout the day. Snow levels starting out a little high, but by the afternoon and tonight, we will see them drop to about 3,000 feet. We're at 66 right now, a south wind at 29, so the storm is getting closer. That's why the winds are picking up right now, and we'll be looking at the mid-60s this afternoon. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm, and then this afternoon by 9 o'clock, we'll be right near 51 with those showers continuing. 41 in Tehachapi. We've got an east-southeast wind at 22. So also on the windy side, as we take a look at the watches and warnings, there is a winter storm warning in place for the Kern County Mountains until 5 a.m. tomorrow. 33,000 people affected by this, and it will affect our passes, the Grapevine and the 58. And here's a look at the hour by hour for the mountains in the 40s, and then that snow level drops by 6 o'clock tonight to 4,000 feet. By 9 down to 3,000 feet. We'll talk much more about this coming up.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, in your court watch this afternoon, a third man is behind bars in connection with a shooting at a motel in December where one person died and 2 others were injured. Oscar Hernandez was arrested Friday on suspicion of murder and gang charges in the death of 30-year-old Daniel Gill. 37-year-old Benjamin Bravo and 29-year-old Jose Chavez also accused in the December 12th shooting at a Motel 6 on Brundage Lane. Hernandez is set to be arraigned Tuesday, and Bravo and Chavez are next due in court March 23rd. Well, 2 suspects are arrested in connection of robbing a convenience store last month. 24-year-old Kenneth Avery and 21-year-old Victor Castena were booked into jail on suspicion of robbery, conspiracy, gang participation, and felony firearm charges. Deputies said, well, according to those deputies, the 2 were identified from surveillance images as the men who robbed the Circle K store at 1030 Oak Street on early February 23rd. Let's take a look around the state. Fake coronavirus test kits were found at LAX over the weekend. Here's a look. Officers discovered 6 plastic bags of various vials labeled to appear as if they were meant to test for COVID-19. The test arrived from the United Kingdom. The shipment was turned over to the Food and Drug Administration for analysis. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol remind people to remain aware of bogus at-home testing kits. Authorized testing for COVID-19 is only conducted at verified state and local health labs. Los Angeles bars and nightclubs will close and restaurants must halt dine-in services and limit their business to takeout orders until March 31st. This is part of the city's efforts to slow the spread of the novel coronavirus. Mayor Garcetti said Sunday night movie theaters, gyms, and fitness centers will be closed. Grocery stores, pharmacies, and food banks will remain open. The announcement came on the heels of a request Sunday afternoon by Governor Gavin Newsom urging bars, nightclubs, wineries, and breweries in California to shut down operations. Newsom also called for the home isolation of people over the age of 65 or those with chronic diseases, both high-risk populations for the virus. And other states have taken the extraordinary step of closing restaurants and bars to dine-in customers. Illinois and Ohio's governor were first to make the announcement on Sunday. Leaders in both states feel taking the measure is necessary to stall the spread of COVID-19. Well, let's take a look in Connecticut. And in Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey, restaurants are open for takeout only. In Illinois, bars and restaurants are closed for dine-in until March 30th. And in Kentucky, Rhode Island, and Washington, all restaurants and bars are closed for dine-in. Taking a look around town, a food giveaway event set for this morning is now being rescheduled. The MLK Community Initiative announced they would have a food giveaway today. That event was scheduled for 9 this morning, but was canceled shortly before it started. And the Taft Police Department is canceling the Coffee with a Cop event. The event was scheduled for Thursday at Roots Eatery. Coffee with a Cop will be rescheduled for a later date. Well, police are urging residents to stay safe and healthy. And the 4th annual CSUB Hair Cut-a-thon has been postponed over concerns about the coronavirus. The fundraiser has been scheduled for Wednesday at the Blackboard Barbershop downtown. It will be rescheduled. According to university officials, last year the event raised $7,000 to benefit student athletes with money for scholarships. And Kern County Superior Court will continue to operate as normal, but the court website has been updated with numbers to call and other information for anyone experiencing flu-like symptoms. Those scheduled to appear for jury service but are experiencing acute respiratory illness symptoms like coughing, sneezing, or a fever are asked to not come to court and instead contact jury services to reschedule. Also, anyone scheduled to appear in traffic court and not feeling well is asked to call the traffic division to reschedule. Traffic citations can also be paid online. Well, before we go, we have some breaking news. President Trump is expected to give an update on the coronavirus coming up in less than 10 minutes. Well, in your 17th Health Watch, a growing number of people will be practicing social distancing in the coming weeks as the coronavirus continues to spread across the country. Experts from the American Heart Association say one thing you can do is to create an at-home circuit workout. Select several exercises such as jumping jacks and do each in short bursts and repeat the whole circuit 2 to 3 times. Also use shelf-staple ingredients to cook heart-healthy meals. And finally, since these are stressful times, find ways you can combat that anxiety by either meditating or calling loved ones to stay connected. Well, a lot of things are changing in our day-to-day lives at this moment, and people all over the globe are looking for ways to keep their families healthy and safe. But what about our pets? And today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither dispels some of the misinformation about the furry members of our family and the current coronavirus pandemic.
Multiple health organizations have all stated that domestic pets and animals are not at risk for contracting COVID-19.
Julie Castle is the CEO of Best Friends Animal Society, which runs the nation's largest sanctuary for homeless animals. Castle says they can carry it on their fur, but the American Veterinary Medical Association, or AVMA, says it's, quote, very unlikely a person would contract the virus by petting or playing with the pets. Animals can spread other diseases.
Make sure that you bathe your pets and practice good hygiene with your pets. Wash your hands after petting your pet.
The AMVA also advises people who have contracted the novel coronavirus to limit interactions with their pets out of an abundance of caution. All experts agree the main theme right now is to use common sense.
You might want to figure out alternatives like walking your dog on a different route that isn't populated with so many people.
With so many people staying at home right now, Castle says it's actually the perfect time to enjoy your pet more and even consider fostering or adopting a new furry member of the family.
That's a proven fact that your pets can really, help calm you down, help calm the family down, because they are that constant.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Oh, what a sweet sight. Well, Kevin, we have rain coming our way. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's already starting to get closer and closer to Kern County, and we'll be looking at some snow in the mountains later on today. Take a look at the temperatures. We're in the mid-60s for Bakersfield, 59 in Delano, 61 out in Taft, and then 30s and 40s into the mountains right now. As we take a look at the satellite and radar, and you can see some of that moisture is now starting to approach our area. It's just to the west of us, and again, this will enhance itself throughout the afternoon. We're going to be looking at snow over the Grapevine. We're going to be looking at snow near Tehachapi and in the Tehachapi area and over the 58. So that's what we are going to be expecting as we head into this afternoon. Take a look at the wider picture and you can see the rotation of the low is still to the north, but it is rotating some of that offshore moisture, and that will continue to push into areas of Kern County to the south, and we're already seeing some heavy snow up into the Sierra. Now temperatures today, 42 in Sacramento. You can see where that colder air is going to start. 54 in Fresno today, 60s down to the south, and we take a look at the Pacific view, and you can see the rotation real nicely with this low and the moisture offshore that's going to swing on in with this. So let's talk about our winter storm warning that is in place for the Kern County mountains, and this is what we're expecting as of right now. Frazier Park could see 4 to 8 inches of snow, including the Pine Mountain Club area. Lebec 2 to 3 inches, and Tehachapi, you could be looking at 3 to 4 inches by the time this is all said and done. Snow level is starting fairly high right now, so we're seeing just rain, but it will plummet as this storm gets closer, and we should be looking at a snow level tonight right around 3,000 feet. Here's a look at the Futurecast model. We put it into motion. It will slowly slide south, and then eventually by Tuesday night, it'll move north and then east, and then we start a little bit of a drying out period. So the bulk of this will probably roll in tonight into early tomorrow morning. How much rain? Model's still suggesting between a half and 1 inch on the high side for the valley locations and into the mountains. We could see the same before it switches over to rain with those heavier showers and between a quarter and a half an inch out in the desert. Here's a look at the air quality. Today will be good with an AQI at 39. And today, look for the rain to pick up, and it will be breezy. We're already seeing the winds out there. 64 in Bakersfield, 62 in Delano, 61 in Buttonwillow. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, it will be a windy day for you as well. High of 44 in Frazier Park, 48 in Tehachapi, 50s for the Kern River Valley, and then for the desert, look for the rain to increase here as well, and a high 48 in Mojave. Here's your extended forecast, and you can see the lingering showers Wednesday, Thursday as well, but they'll be light, and then dry Friday. Another system may impact us by next weekend, and then for the mountains, you can see that snow level tonight, and then tomorrow and into Wednesday, right near 3,000 feet. You get a break on Friday. Another round coming in Saturday, Sunday. Warmer, though. And then for the Kern River Valley, same situation. Above 3,000 feet, we could be looking at some snow. So I don't think the Lake Isabella downtown area will see snow, but some of the higher elevations above that. But definitely our passes could be impacted tonight.
Great. Well, thank you for that, Kevin.
Yep.
Well, we're still waiting on that NBC special report where the president will give an update on the coronavirus. We're back right after the break.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Well, we are currently waiting on a special report right now where President Trump is set to speak. We will bring that to you as soon as it becomes available. Well, in your Business Watch right now, we're going to check those stocks. U.S. markets opened sharply lower on today. The Dow opened nearly 10% lower. The Nasdaq Composite fell more than 6%. And the S&P 500 opened down more than 8%. Well, right now, if we take a look, stocks are all down at this time. Meantime, oil prices, West Texas Intermediate is at $28.87 a barrel, and Midway Sunset Oil is at $30.79 a barrel. With many schools closing across the country due to the coronavirus pandemic, you may be looking for ways to keep your kids learning and engaged. Scholastics has set up a few learn-from-home websites with 4 categories: pre-K and kindergarten, grades 1 and 2, grades 3 through 5, and grades 6 and up. Each section is already equipped with 1 week of content for students, with 15 additional days on the way. Each day of content is filled with articles and stories, videos, and learning challenges. The students can even go on virtual field trips or meet best-selling authors. The website provides up to 3 hours worth of content each day and can be completed on any device. And New York's famed Metropolitan Opera Company has been forced to close its doors due to the coronavirus outbreak, but it's making an encore performance available to stream for free beginning tonight at 7:30 Eastern with Carmen. Each opera will remain available on metopera.org for 20 hours. The homepage link will open the performance on the Met Opera on-demand streaming service. The performances will also be viewable on all Met Opera on-demand apps. Grocery stores have always cashed in on consumers willing to pay higher prices for anything that's convenient. But how high are you willing to go? Our story from NBC's Chris Clackham.
All because of convenience, those grocery delivery services are now as common as a gallon of milk.
I think we've gone from delivery being a luxury to being a need.
Convenience that comes at a cost, though, and now even on some of the food itself, like onions, fruit, meat, and seafood.
Sometimes double of what it would have been for you to do it yourself.
A frustrating fact for Jenny Martin at Southern Savers.
Anytime I let someone else do the preparation, that is an automatic large upcharge.
Her breaking point is boiled eggs, boiled and peeled at the store.
You're paying like $1.50 for 2 eggs. I could get a dozen eggs for less than $1.
Grocery aisles are filled with such items, marked up as much as
Thank you very much, Dr. Birx. So just to connect with what I mentioned to you in previous discussions in this room, and Dr. Birx said it very well, that in order to be able to contain and curtail this epidemic to not reach its maximum capability, we have a two-pillar approach, one of which I believe has been very effective in preventing the substantial seeding, and namely the travel restrictions that we've discussed many times in this room. The other, equally, if not more important, is when you have infection in your own country, which we do. And, I could read the numbers, but they're really essentially what we've seen yesterday, incremental increases both globally as well as in the United States, with the curve doing that. So therefore, the kinds of things that we do are containment and mitigation. What we're mentioning now, the guidelines, when you look at them carefully, I believe if the people in the United States take them seriously, because they were based on some rather serious consideration back and forth. Some may look at them and say they're going to be really inconvenient for people. Some will look and say, well, maybe we've gone a little bit too far. They were well thought out. And the thing that I want to reemphasize, and I'll say it over and over again, when you're dealing with an emerging infectious diseases outbreak, you are always behind where you think you are if you think that today reflects where you really are. That's not word speak. It means if you think you're here, you're really here because you're only getting the results. Therefore, it will always seem that the best way to address it would to be doing something that looks like it might be an overreaction. It isn't an overreaction. It's a reaction that we feel is commensurate, which is actually going on in reality. So take a look at the guidelines, read them carefully, and we hope that the people of the United States will take them very seriously, because they will fail if people don't adhere to them. We have to have, as a whole country, cooperate and collaborate to make sure these get done. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, a lot of people are concerned about how long all of this might last. Do you have any kind of estimate that if Americans really were to band together and do what the White House is suggesting, how quickly you could turn this corner?
My favorite question, I ask it all the time. How many times, Anthony, I think I ask him that question every day, and I speak to Deborah, I speak to a lot of them. I get the opinion. So it seems to me that if we do a really good job, we'll not only hold the death down to a level that is much lower than the other way, had we not done a good job. But people are talking about July, August, something like that. So it could be right in that period of time where it washes through. Other people don't like that term, but where it washes through.
So is this the new normal until the height of the summer?
We'll see what happens, but they think August, could be July, could be longer than that. But I've asked that question many, many times. Yes.
That being said, Mr. President, Americans today and looking forward are living with so much anxiety and so much fear, facing uncertainty right now. I'm curious, how are you talking to your own family about this? How are you talking to your youngest son? Do you empathize with this sense of anxiety? People are really scared.
Yeah. No, I think they are very scared. I think they see that we're doing a very professional job. We've been working with the governors and frankly, the mayor's local government at every level. We have FEMA totally involved. FEMA has been, usually we see FEMA for the hurricanes and the tornadoes. Now we have FEMA involved in this. They've been doing a fantastic job locally, working with people that they know because they work, like as an example, in California, in the state of Washington. They work with them a lot on other things, and they're very familiar, so they're working on it. What you can do, and all you can do, is professional, totally competent. We have the best people in the world. We have really the greatest experts in the world. And someday soon, hopefully it'll end and we'll be back to where it was. But this came up. It came up so suddenly. Look, you were surprised. We were all surprised. We heard about it. We heard about reports from China that something was happening, and all of a sudden we did make a good decision. We closed our borders to China very quickly, very rapidly. Otherwise we'd be in a very, as Tony has said numerous times, we'd be in a very bad position. much worse than we would be right now. You look at what's happening in other countries. Italy's having a very hard time. But I think that what we do, and I've spoken actually with my son. He says, "How bad is this?" It's bad. It's bad. But we're going to be hopefully a best case, not a worst case, and that's what we're working for. Yes.
You can clear up some confusion on two key fronts. One is about your own test. The other is about containment efforts. Is the administration considering more aggressive containment options, like a quarantine, a national curfew, restricting?
Well, we have that very much. Yeah, we have that very much, and we've been pretty aggressive. We were early with Europe, but we were very, very early with China and other places, and fortunately we were. And as far as containment here, we're coming out with strong suggestions. And, it's becoming a little bit automatic. You look at people, they're not doing certain things. For instance, they're obviously not, I wouldn't say the restaurant business is booming and bars and grills and all. People are self-containing to a large extent. We look forward to the day when we can get back to normal.
To be specific,
what's your second question?
Are you considering instituting a nationwide lockdown, a nationwide quarantine? The NSC knocked that down, but there's still some questions about how it all came
at this point, not nationwide, but well, there are some places in our nation that are not very affected at all. But we may look at certain areas, certain hot spots, as they call them. We'll be looking at that, but at this moment, no, we're not.
The second question is: you said you had your coronavirus test Friday night. The White House doctor's office put out a statement around midnight Friday saying that no test was indicated. So when exactly was your test administered?
Well, I had my test. It was late Friday night, and the reason I did it was because I had no symptoms whatsoever. So the doctor said, "You have no symptoms, so we don't see any reason." But when I did the press conference on Friday, everybody was going crazy. Did you do the test? Did you do the test? So very late on Friday night, I did the test. And he may have put out, or the doctor may have put out something I don't know what time the letter went out. Maybe it was put out by somebody else. But the results came back, I believe, the following day. And we tested negative.
But the question is, how could the White House doctor's office say a test wasn't indicated, implying that you hadn't had one when, in fact, you had?
Well, I told them that, and I went totally by what they said, the doctors, more than one. They said you don't have any of the symptoms. They checked what you're supposed to check, and that I didn't have symptoms. But I did a test late on Friday night, and it came back probably 24 hours later or something. They sent it to the labs, came back later. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you had a teleconference with the nation's governors today.